So I got my bread dough here that's been in the fridge for 3 days. We're going to make us a nice pizza with this. Instead of flour, I am going to put a little bit of olive oil on my hands. And the reason we're putting olive oil is so that we don't get a unnecessarily floury taste. I'm actually just going to stretch it directly on my screen right here. Here it is. Comes out nicely. You can see how nice the matrix is on this thing. So all we're going to really do, take this. What you can really do is you can start stretching it with your hands. But this is so fragile. I'm actually just going to stretch it on the counter here. And, change the center of gravity a little. You don't want to punch it down. You don't want to squeeze it. You want to do this as lightly as possible. And it should stretch out rather quickly. Probably do it from this end so y'all can see it a little better. You can get a feel for it as you do this. And I'm actually going to bake this for 6 minutes. I'm going to bake this for 3 minutes. Turn it 180 degrees, bake it for 2 more minutes, and then I'm going to put it on the bottom rack with the bottom broiler on for the last minute to crisp the bottom. You see how easily this is pulling out? It's really smooth. In some places, like if you work at Domino's, they want you to dock it to make the cornice. They'll actually have you push in and then roll back like this and then roll back, but you don't really need to do that because the sauce and the toppings prevent it from rising as much, and where there isn't any, it'll rise just fine actually. This is except right there, it's pretty evenly distributed too. That and stretch it this way. Feels about right there. So we got that. Hurry up and do this. Sauce it, cheese it. Now I could let this rest some more. I only want to get rid of the really big bubbles like that. Maybe that one. Other than that, there you go. It's a really nice sized pizza. And this is still gonna come together nicely. Yeah. The cat's at the door. Oh, that was you jumping on a recliner. Now I'm actually gonna, I don't feel like getting the brush out. I'm actually gonna put a little bit of sauce, olive oil along the crust to help it brown. A little bit underneath. So got that. I'm gonna lightly brush it here. And also it lets the pizza relax a little, take a little bit of time here. Now all we gotta do is sauce, cheese, and the only thing I'm putting on this one is pepperoni. So there, we got that. Seven Toe says I'm making them fat, just making these videos. That's pretty funny. So we got that. We got the sauce over here. We got the cheese. Oops. Yeah, it's a little bit slippery. There we go. Yeah, that sounds nice. And this ain't kitty cat food, dude. Oops. A little bit of a mess there. That. Get a good sized spoon or ladle. Might as well pull out this pizza cutter, gonna need it. A little more sauce than I usually use, actually. Distribute the sauce. You want to do this fast so that the dough doesn't get soggy. So I need to actually pick this up a little bit here. Take that off the crust a little there. Draw that back a little. Making a mess, aren't I? There's a napkin. That's pretty good. Oven just told me it's ready. Toss on the cheese. Enough cheese right there. Spread it out. Yeah, that's good. A little bit of Italian seasoning. A little bit of basil, a little bit of garlic powder, I'm gonna throw in the pepperoni here. I cubed it up this time just for more surface area. Spread those out a little here. Everything's nicely distributed. And there it is. You can throw a little bit of extra olive oil on top if you want, but I'm not going to because it's going to have plenty of between the cheese and this pepperoni. It's hanging over a little there. Like I said, I'm going to put this in for 6 minutes, 3 minutes, and turn it 180 degrees. 2 more minutes, then put it on the bottom rack for the last minute. Clean up the sauce I spilled so I don't step on it. So into the oven it goes. Back in 6 minutes. There's that. Clean up while I'm waiting. Nice and peaceful. Soft Kentucky rain falling. 2.5 minutes till I turn it. Wash my hands. This thing's really sharp. You could shave with this bad boy. Anyway, you can already start to smell the dough. It's been a minute. After 2, you usually want to check just for any bubbles, depending on how long you fermented. Clean up this excess here. like that. Nice mild bleach water solution. Interestingly, if you ever need to make water safe to drink, you can put 10 drops of bleach, household bleach, in it. Let it sit for 15 minutes. It should actually smell slightly like bleach. Now what that'll do is it'll make it sterile. There won't be any microorganisms, and it doesn't mean it won't have any contaminants like chemicals, oil, anything else in it. And you're talking about activated charcoal. Well, it's time to turn that. That's in about 3 minutes. Take a look in here. Oh yeah, it's ready to turn. That puff of hot air, man, gets me every time. Okay. Turn to 180 degrees. Another 2 minutes. Turn that. This rain out here is really nice. Come on, buddy. Come on. Yeah. How you doing, JJ? Well, you want some soft food, dude? Come on. Here you go. Well, let me get you a dish, dude. I'm probably just gonna lick this in a. Yeah. I'll lick it and then quit it, alright? There you go. Come on, buddy. There you go. Enjoy. Wipe that down again. Oh, that plate is clean. There's some OCD in the way. Yeah. That's about ready to go on the bottom rack. 30 seconds left there. Take a look at this. Yep, it's browning nicely. Crust is feeling good. It's about time to put that bad boy on the bottom rack for a minute. 15 seconds. Cheese is starting to get bubbly, so it's ready now to go on the bottom rack. I don't burn the shit out of myself doing this. On the bottom rack for a minute. That's just a rough estimate. Just like when I make the dough, and I make enough for 2 14-inch doughs. It's a rough estimate. It depends on the kind of flour you're using, its hydration, your humidity where you're at, the temperature, and the dough's hydration will change when it's unsealed. So that's just a rough guesstimate, and what I use is approximately 4 cups of flour, 1.5 cups of water, yeast water, a tablespoon of olive oil, a teaspoon of salt, and a teaspoon of sugar, and that's all that goes into the dough. It's the flour, water, yeast, olive oil, a little bit of salt and sugar. And I add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. It sounds like it's about ready, huh? Add like half the dry ingredients, mix it in, let it sit for 10 minutes. Add another quarter, mix it in, let it sit for 10 minutes. Add an eighth, mix it in, let it sit for 10 minutes, and you get a feel for it. It's actually down to a feel. The dough should be somewhat sticky. It should still be tacky. You don't want to force any of the flour into it. And then when I add that last little bit, like that last 1/16th, I then let it sit for like 45 minutes to an hour, and then I'll add the Then I'll add the olive oil, that tablespoon of olive oil. Then I'll let it sit for another 15 minutes. And then I'll work it up and I'll let it sit. I'll let it sit out for about an hour before I put it in the fridge for 3 days. And then I'll bring it out and let it sit for 4 or 5 hours to rise up before I make the pizza like here. I probably should pull that out before it's overdone. Alright, buddy. Oh, yeah, that's done. It's done enough for me anyway. Some people might say that looks a little underdone, but I like that right there. Looks pretty nice. I'm actually going to add just a little bit of accent seasoning. Very, very slight amount. Actually makes a difference. And then you want to let this sit for, a minute or so before you cut into it. And we're going to have us a nice pizza. Doesn't that look nice though? I just burnt the shit out of my fingertip. That's smart. Turn off the oven. And there you have it. A nice pizza. So you're looking at like 1/4 for the dough. You're looking at maybe 1/4 for the sauce. You're looking at maybe 50 cents for that pepperoni. And you're looking at maybe $1.25 for the cheese. So 1/4 is 50 cents. 50 cents for the pepperonis, $1, $1.25 for the cheese. What you looking at? $2.25 for a large pepperoni and cheese pizza. $2.25, 2 1/4, and it's good. The dough is nice. Some might say it's a little soft, but I like that. I'm gonna go ahead and slide this off here. Just put it directly on the counter. There's one of those forks. There we go. Get under there. Go around the edge here. That should slide right off. There you go. Very nice pizza. I probably could have left it in another 30 seconds, but this is just fine for me because I'm really hungry. And we'll go ahead and cut it up. You can hear that slight crispiness. And this is straight up bread flour instead of all purpose. Gives you a nice chewier crust. And I like it that way. So there we go. Cut 8 ways. And pull a piece out. This shit's still really hot. Go ahead and get a plate. And have us a nice look at this, huh? There you go. And of course this is going to taste as good as it looks. You can see that the crust, ouch, developed pretty well there. Yeah, I undercooked it a little. But you can see, look, I'll even flip it over. You can see that did brown pretty decently. That's going to be a lot softer. The reason places like Domino's, they can get it crustier faster. And their oven's like, what is their oven at? 475 is a good average, and it's cooking for 6 to 6.5 minutes at 475, but it's an air impingement oven, which means it's actively blowing hot air, forcing it from the top and the bottom, so that cooks it a lot faster on the outside to get that crispiness. Now here, I just baked this at like a little over 500 degrees. I guess I really could have jacked it up and got it as high as I could, which would have been about 550, 575, but I didn't want to take the risk of drying the pizza out for that. This right here, that's just fine for me. You can see it looks pretty good. And yeah, $2.25 for a large pepperoni and cheese pizza. And what more could you? Ooh, look at that, making a mess. What more could you want, huh? Some good stuff right there. Maybe I'll make a pizza one of these days. No one ever posts anything on XI. We can see that crust did, even under that sauce, that rather generous sauce. Look at that slide now. That cheese is sliding now. That crust developed. And that was a little bit excessive on the let's see, that was 6 minutes total right there. Good stuff, huh?